What's up, y'all? This is the NYC Nobodies podcast. Back at it again with another episode, another week. A little bit of a hiatus. FIFA Club World Cup.
Life.
World War III. Who knows what's happening out here, bro? But we're back. And we're here to talk about, obviously, NYCFC and much more. But how you guys feeling?
It's a beautiful, stop raining. It's a beautiful summer evening. It's hot. Humid.
Hot as hell, bro.
It's gonna be one of those typical New York summers. I have a feeling.
But if we know anything about New York, is that we're outside.
We outside.
We're
literally
outside. All we need right now is the hookah, domino table.
Where's Manny and Tender when you need them?
Manny and Tender.
Shout out.
Manny and Tender. Where y'all when we need the hookah and everything, bro?
They're sad because Honduras lost 6-0 to Canada.
Cerotes.
But yeah, to begin this week, a lot to talk about, a lot in the soccer world, not
Yeah.
only here in New York City, not only around the area, around the country. So we're going to start off with the main team, the one that we're here based on, and that's NYCFC.
Yeah, I was about to point to my kid, but I realized I'm not even wearing
We're
it.
not in South
Yeah.
America, so yeah.
I think we should make it a rule. Maybe no other club kids on the show. Maybe.
Because
you it is Atlético Nacional. I get it.
We're being very nice.
Shouts to the Verdolagas out there. You know what I mean? So, but we are going to talk about New York City FC, guys. I mean, we did have a game last Thursday, and we played Atlanta United. Ronnie Dyler came back to town, and he was, he said, what is vibes? He still doesn't know what vibes are. He didn't come to the bodega. He didn't do none of that. And it was crazy, but when you get down to it, the night ended up very well. So, I'm gonna defer to you guys because you guys were actually at the game.
Yeah, we were.
The vibes were definitely lit, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it was for a Thursday match. It was.
Yeah,
it was wild.
That's what I keep hearing. Unfortunately, I had a cannabis retail management class that I'm taking at BMCC. Couldn't come to the game, but I got to be a responsible adult. And go to class. These derelicts right here would have told me to go to not skip class and just go to come to the game.
But I was telling everyone,
So
that day that it was a big day. Not only are we playing Atlanta again, and we were supposed to have much more from the away game we had in March. Tati was in the city for the week, and he came to our game. We knew that he was at the Puma store with Man City the day before. And there was, rumors spiraling around that he was going to come back and be there, on Thursday night. And he was. And not only that, he watched us take on his last coach in NYCFC. Well, actually Cushing, but the coach that he won a championship with.
Yeah.
So to have the Golden Boot winner, both men who led us to the charge, except for playing against Dyla, it was a headline. And what a headline performance it was.
He
was
even
epic.
set up the smokestacks. I mean, he got a new kit. He was looking good in that.
Just said Tati,
no
no Castellanos.
No
so
Castellanos.
he's elevated.
Yeah, and the headline news from the players themselves. What a performance they had.
No, it really was, man. So, guys, we're going to get into this. NYCFC, we had a starting 11, so the starting 11 went like this. In goal, we had him making his MLS debut, Mr. Tomas Romero.
Yes, sir. I've been vouching for that, man.
We lined up on our back four. We lined up from right to left. We had Strahinja Tanjuslevich on the right. Justin Hack, one of the center back, paired up with Mr. Thiago Martins. Burke Reese was playing out on the left back. Our midfield lined up as such. We had Maxi Morales, we had Andres Perea, and then we also had Julian Fernandez on the wing. And our front three, we had a pretty decent front three up there. We had Mr. Hannes Wolf, team of the match day. Shouts to him. We also had Musef Bakrar, aka Nico's favorite player on this club.
Goddamn right.
He's a man of the people. He's definitely a man of the people. A lot of love for him.
Definitely. And then also just to round out the starting 11, we had a Trapito Ojeda on the right wing. So I think. While I was in class and I saw the starting 11, I'm like, well, this is pretty close to our regular starting 11.
Can I ask a question?
What's up?
Were you watching the game in class?
You know something? I was tempted to watch the game in class, but we had a guest speaker. It was a gentleman he's the owner of Turp Bros here in Astoria. So
he's a committed man over here.
So he's making money.
It was Mr. Jeremy Rivera came to our class. I was committed. I wanted to learn. I did not watch the game during class.
And listen, maybe that was a
me.
good look charm. You were being a good noodle, and we were being...
Yo, so now we know when Felix doesn't show up to the games, we'll win 4-0.
And it's funny because a couple people will come in on the stadium when I got in there, and they were just like, "Look, you see, now you can't come to any more games." I'm like, what do you mean?
You're cooked. You're
I'm
cooked,
bro. It's a wrap.
It's not like you were there. We won MLS Cup.
Exactly.
But I mean,
that's what I'm saying though. Now I was there. You know what I mean? So definitely
pretty standard. Well, obviously we're missing Micha.
Yeah.
Matt Freese, obviously.
Yeah.
Alonso Martinez as well. So we're missing a couple players, but I mean, pretty standard lineup. It's good to see guys like Perea getting back in the lineup that are healthy. Burke Risa, he had a solid game, which is good because I know his season has been like a roller coaster.
But he's been putting in a couple good
performances.
lately.
Shout out to Tomas Romero, bro.
Yeah.
So I mean, one thing of course, I always mentioned was that we're gonna need any depth player to really step up when our main guys freeze. Let's shout out our boys who went international, who are actually doing a decent job.
Shout out
of course, with our American hero Matt Freese, looking like could push for that #1 for the USA.
I mean,
team.
I've been telling you I feel like he's the best goalie,
and it's the best time for him to try. Alonso Martinez was also heating up Gold Cup, so he's just on a streak, and that's what you want. You want strikers to stay consistent, stay healthy, and they're killing it. Mitia, who's playing, some of the best talent you'll have in Europe in the U21 tournament with Slovenia. He's starting.
Kid's a beast, bro.
And I mean, shout out these guys, but we need, another international like Tomas Romero to step up, and he did. Thankfully for the whole team's performance, he had a clean sheet. We had people step in, of course, and the best thing I've always told you guys is that we have a lot of guys coming back from injury who are healthy. So in order to keep going, we're definitely going to have these guys to be healthy and step up when we need them. Good to see Perea back, of course. And that first half, I mean, it was actually much tighter than the result was.
I just want to say, shouts to Tomas Romero. I mean, he could have gotten picked for the Salvadorian national team.
Yeah,
he said no. I want to make my MLS debut with my club. Like that to me, it says a lot about who he is. He'd rather say, you know what, this is my club. He wants to be here. I'm grateful for that. I mean, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I mean, in the post-game conference interviews he's had, shout out other creators for getting those kind of interviews. I think it's
shout out City Boys,
very
Blue Balls.
important for exactly.
I'm sure I'm missing other Hudson River Blues.
But Romero, they really said that he wanted to take this spot and really start getting it going with NYCFC.
Right.
And listen, people forget this is a guy who had at least 30 appearances in MLS. He was a backup in LAFC. Mm-hmm. He actually played a good amount of games, dozen games or something like that. So he did well. So this is exactly who you kind of want for a #2. International experience, and you want someone who's been in MLS enough to know.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nico. How was he?
No, I mean, honestly, shout out to him, man. We have we carry 4 goalies on our roster. Alex Rondo, Greg, I always struggle. Ranjit Singh. Obviously Matt Freese and Tomas Romero, and bro, it's a lot. So I'm sure any of these guys, if they had the chance to start, they're all gonna take it. Because honestly, Matt Freese, I just truly don't believe he'll be our goalie much longer. So these guys are all fighting for the future spot.
And it's good. I mean, listen, you could have someone like Romero really develop like a Matt Freese when he was fighting with Vitor Barraza. And listen, of course, we don't know when Freese, if it happens, when it happens, it'll happen, but for now, somebody like Romero has to be on his toes and really want it. And it looks like he has a good head on his shoulders. So, of course, we also forgot to shout out Aiden O'Neill, who's actually starting all the games for Australia, and they're on the verge of making the World Cup.
Yeah, so shouts to Aiden O'Neill there as well, man, because he's come in, and I think he really injected a good shot of physicality in the midfield. That's what, and it was immediate impact. I mean, he started his first game 2 days after arriving with the club.
No, he also has.
He plugged him right in, and he's been doing his thing. So, shouts to Aiden O'Neill as well.
So but we go back to the first half. Of course, Maxi Morales, who is not the youngest buck, who has been here forever,
our king,
making the most out of
life-size statue, as Caesar always says, life-size statue.
Life-size statue outside of Eddie High Park.
I'm not the only one who started saying that, so they should really consider it. But first half, he made the most out of their error. Yeah. We pressed good the whole game.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think, what I call Pascal ball.
Yeah.
He's really Janssen ball, whatever you want to call it.
High motor.
And that's really paying dividends. We saw that there when it was better going into the half 0-0 than 1-0 than 0-0. So.
And it was crazy because it was, me just trying to hide the frustration. I believe it was maybe the 35th minute when Atlanta had that disallowed goal. I mean, obviously it was offside, but I'm just like, why? And I tried to contain myself. I was like, I saw the alert on my phone. Fuck. Put the phone, flip the phone over, right? And then I hear the vibration on my, I feel the alert on my watch, and I'm like, score correction. Yes, cool. Definitely, that's even better.
We just know that at least you weren't fuming or angry as Dyla.
Oh my
was
god!
At that point, seeing that error was.
I mean, when I was watching it, during the Apple TV broadcast, there was a lot of animation from the sideline when that goal was disallowed. I was like,
oh no, that was.
come on, bro.
Yeah, I don't know if that first goal for us would have happened if that first goal for Atlanta stood. So.
I honestly had thought, okay, well, we've been in this scenario before. For the moment, for those maybe 2 minutes in which we had conceded, I was like, well, here we go again. We get punched first. Let's see how we punch back. And I think, I think the game against Nashville showed us a lot because, we got punched first and then we owned that second half. We scored 2 in the second half. We managed to swing back. So I think, it was just a matter of time to see when we were going to swing back.
Yeah,
and then we had the boy Maxi Morales. Give him his statue. Brad Sims, I know you listening to our show. I know you watch. You know what I mean? Get this man a statue outside of Eddie Howe Park.
And please don't let us get to a point where we have to get a petition going. This is our GOAT.
I will get 25,000 signatures on that.
It will happen.
It will happen.
We don't have a Ring of Honor yet, but he should be the first one put in there.
Yeah, no, dead ass.
Whenever that Ring of Honor exists, Maxi Morales has to be the first person inducted.
The names you have.
What's funny about the goal he scores, bro? He has so much patience in front of goal. He'll just roll the ball, and then he just shoots. It's just like, bro, like.
I think
that's what you call class.
Yeah, literally, he's just
that's
like,
what you call elegance.
Bop.
It's like Pirlo. He would just play in space in tough situations, just still have the ball. They're just smart.
It's just the fact that he's done it. He's done it to the Rebels a few times where he'll put everybody on skates in the box,
sit him down,
and just sit them down and just. Roll it in there. I mean, we've seen it time and time again, but I think that the build up towards this goal in the 41st minute was amazing.
And of course, that is exactly the motivation we needed for the second half. And what 15, 20 minutes to start off a half it was. Yeah. I don't think we've seen that kind of 10-minute performance since Alonso Martinez hat-trick last year.
Yeah, against San Jose.
But they were possessed. When, of course, that 101 that we had around the 53rd minute, 50-ish minute. 101 that Bakrar, Bruce.
Yeah, he kicked it right to Brad Guzan, to be honest.
That was, and
I watched the highlights literally 40 seconds after he had that in his. That's what I said. He's ready to explode.
When you really think about it, when you watch that goal, it was just a touch of class. I mean, Musev does not have to do much. All he had to do, just wedge his foot under the ball. Brad Guzan didn't move for a second. Brad Guzan had that face that I love. That face, that holy shit face that he puts on when he realizes he just got beat by a banger. I love it.
There was nothing he could do to stop that.
Nothing he could have done to stop that.
Then right after that, I don't know if it was a full moon, but the Wolves came out.
Yep.
And the Braves came out again.
Shouts to Mandy because she likes to holler at the moon every time Hannes Wolf scores. Shouts to Mandy, okay? I said it.
Nah, she does. She does do that.
But yeah, listen, we talk about elegance, we talk about class, we talk about technique.
Yeah.
And we know who's had that this season. He had it the match before that.
Yeah.
Hannes Wolf.
Do you guys know he had 6 goals last season and now he's already got 8?
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
2 braces back to back.
Yeah.
Half of his goals right there.
And something, my whole thing is that when we got this guy, people were wondering like, what are we getting in this guy?
He proved it pretty quick.
And I
think
what
we're getting.
And I think now this season he really has been going above and beyond and just providing that additional offensive spark because hey, I come to see it as this. Pascal Janssen, he laid the line down. He said we can't depend on just Alonso Martinez. We have to get goals from other players.
You just said it like. These guys are clearly clicking under Pascal ball or Janssen ball, whatever you guys want to call it. I don't know how many different scores we had last season. I know it wasn't much, but this year I feel like we might have already had more players score than we probably had almost all last year.
And one thing everybody has to realize is just a consistency of defensive work. We could have easily dropped our guard and had Tomas Romero, concede one.
Yeah.
But he did not.
No,
we did get saved by the refs, I guess I would say.
There's a couple times that there were a couple times he did get saved by the ref, but at the end of the day, I feel that the defense
take what you could get.
Yeah, they're gonna take what they get. But hey, at the end, we got a clean sheet. our defensive unit has been pretty decent. I mean, we can't really complain.
And someone we have to shout out who's been one of the core centerpieces of that is our homeboy from Brooklyn, our homegrown
Justin
man,
Hack,
who is a completely different player. And I've always said it.
I always believed in you, Justin Hack.
I've always believed in you too. I don't want to hear nothing.
I've never ever said anything negative about you ever in the history of.
Watch the receipts come out.
Yeah, someone go find the receipts. They exist. I'm not gonna delete them either.
Yeah,
I already told him myself that I used to talk shit, but he shut me up. Yeah, I love it.
Listen, something that I've always felt about Justin Hack, I knew the type of player he was going to develop into. A lot of supporters were just like, oh, man, this kid sucks. But then again, what we saw out of him was pretty much substandard. It wasn't up to what we needed. But I told myself, what, this kid is going to be something, right? I remember when we were at the Edge last year, and I told Justin, bro, I think, it's time for a lot of people to step up on this squad. And I think he was one of those people. I think he's at a point in his life where he just he realizes this is where he's at. He's representing his hometown. He's been doing a bang up job. I think, one good thing that Nick Cushing did was inject some belief in this kid.
Yeah, that's
true.
He
just kept starting him either at center back, CDM, and he just flourished. And now we're seeing the man that he's actually become. And it's crazy how, he's been with the club, the first team, 8 years?
2019 was his first start.
So yeah, he got signed to the first team in 2019.
Pride night against Cincinnati, I think 2019.
Yeah, it was that night. Yeah, exactly.
6.
Yeah, so he's been around and we've seen him develop. We've seen him on the second team, we've seen him on loan at Hartford Athletic, we've seen him when he came back here. Now he's manning up and saying, I'm taking control of this position and it's mine.
And I tell you, the main reason I think he's stepped up, the main reason why he's a completely different player is the reason I've always said he cannot be given too much, and sometimes for young players it's tough.
Yeah.
Too much responsibility on the ball. Not only that, if you're part of the midfield three, you have to be good on your feet. Mm-hmm. Defensive decisions, offensive decisions, click into passing play. And I said that might be too much to handle for now. Put him in center back. He has athleticism. Pascal Janssen, a master at basically transforming young talent.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what we're getting.
And it's always like, he wanted to pattern his play after Frank Lampard. I mean, there's always that narrative, that this is the player he grew up admiring and everything like that. But now it's just like...
He's a modern center back.
Yeah, he's a modern center back in which he will play box to box.
He can play with his feet. If he played for NYCFC,
yeah, and that's the thing is he's become this dynamic box to box, defender that he will just go up, and if he's in that right position, he will take his shots. And I think that like you said, is the modern center back. Center backs will now press up all the way up until 25 to 18 yards out, and winning balls that far up the field. And he's been doing a great job doing that.
And I mean, one thing, of course, that was the best way to end the game. Shut it down. Ronnie Dyla, I have no idea what's going on in Atlanta. Now we're glad we didn't get him back.
Yeah.
Because Pascal Janssen.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say that because, when he started off with us, he had a rough start. Who knows?
It's still early in the season, but it is.
Right now, it's not looking great, but who knows? He at the end of the day, the guy, he is a winner. I'll give him that. So I'm not going to count him out just yet.
And let's talk about.
But we actually ended up getting the W 4-0. Kevin O'Toole came back from injury. Shout out to you, Kevin O'Toole. Good to see you back. Seymour Reed. It was basically a rotation game. Like the boys have a well-deserved rest, except the guys on international break. Because like I was telling a couple of the players on the team, like, bro, 8 games in 1 month is like diabolical.
Yeah,
so they got some well-deserved rest. Bakrar went to Cancun. All these dudes are going all over on vacation,
Kevin
so
O'Toole
shout out to them. Yeah, he went to Ireland. I told him he's looking for O'Toole's pub out there. So,
and talking about traveling, where do we travel next?
Montreal.
God.
The place that we all love to visit.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect opportunity to actually keep climbing on the table.
Before we get to that real quick, I just want to shout out Eli Lesser. We hung out with him yesterday. He had his first chopped cheese, and it was just dope to hang out with one of the biggest content creators in MLS.
We have a lot of love for you guys.
And that was sick.
We have a lot of love for you.
And for him telling me that he liked what we're doing, it meant a lot. But I just wanted to give him that shout out. And shout out to Milky. Big Play Small Tug. Go check that out.
Check that out.
But back to Montreal, as they say, Montreal. Oh my God.
That's not what they say, but yes.
I'm so excited. And by they, I mean me. I can't wait. This is like, because around this time of year, this is only our second game of the month.
Yeah.
And I'm having withdrawals. I enjoy Montreal. The food is fantastic. The culture's lit. The indulgence is incredible. I'll say, yeah. It's extremely legal. It's fantastic. And just to go travel and watch the boys in another country is always dope. So I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, what an opportunity. We can make our weekend even better if we can get
3
this
points.
win, and why not?
I mean, we kind of said this the last time we played Montreal. We're going to pick up those 3 points. It didn't exactly
No, but we weren't at the form. We weren't at the form we're at now.
But I think now, exactly. I think our form's a lot better.
We should definitely go for it, and I think we can.
I think that right now we're on a better run than we were when we played Montreal the first time around. And I think, honestly, we're looking at them and they're 11 points. They really didn't do much after the last time we played.
That's why I always say, like, a type of caliber team, and we want to be one of the heavy favorites.
I think they actually just beat Houston their last game, but
this is no reason for us to drop our guard.
Yeah, they do have the 2 wins on the season, so
and we cannot be intimidated by it.
No, absolutely not.
Not.
We've had much success in Montreal over the years, so I don't see.
We
but
should pick it up too.
Travel for NYCFC, guys. It's fun. We're gonna go and have a great time. Go to a different country.
I think that was one of the best away days.
It's only a 6-hour drive from NYC. 6 hours.
Other than Portland, I think that was one of the more enjoyable away days that I've had. It's like, Montreal is just, Montreal.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope in the fall. I haven't been up in the summer. I went there in the dead of winter for ISC. It was awful. But I really feel like Montreal is like that really walkable city. You know what I mean? You get a lot of that European feel, but you're still in North America. Like you said, it's a 6-hour drive up the freaking up the thruway.
Up 87.
Up 87, so you are good to go. And yeah, weed's legal up there. I mean, why not? And it's not that bad either.
We had weed beef jerky last time we were in Montreal.
You need to bring some of that back.
That Jack Legs is...
You need to bring some of that back.
Talking about Montreal, so you guys let me know, what are going to be your predictions for that game?
Honestly, we should probably win like 3-0, but I'll be conservative and say like a 1-0 or like a 2-0.
I think everyone.
I'll take a 1 or 2.
We just sneak out of it there with 3 points. And then, honestly, I just hope we could get those points on the road, because those points could really end up benefiting.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in 7th place right now. The Red Bulls are only 1 point behind us, and Chicago has 25 points, and they're in 10th, and that's outside the playoffs. So if we fumble a couple of these games, we could be in the outside looking in, and I'm not trying to have that happen at all.
That's one thing I want to highlight with you guys, and I tell everyone else. What it looks like from 2 to 10. It's a very crowded competition.
Yeah, that's 8 points.
And that's why everybody is yo-yoing. We can literally be 4th one week and then be 9th for the next week. So it's important to keep getting these points.
The East is much more competitive than the West this year, for sure.
And I think is that right now we have to be in a position where we're going to hit our consistency all the time. We have to pick up points every time we hit the pitch.
Yes.
Whether we're fighting back on a 2-2 against Nashville, or we're beating Atlanta 4-0. This is now the time of year where those points actually, they always count, but they're going to count even more just because we're in that tight of a race.
We're already more than halfway through the season. So.
Yeah, with that being said, I think we'll score a lot. We might actually concede a bit, I think. Mm-hmm. Well, we should get like a 3-1, 3-2 win.
I would love it. We lost last year 2-0. That sucked. So it'd be nice.
It was a completely different way to leading up to that.
Yeah,
anyway, so.
But I would love to see the boys get a win in Canada. That'd be so sick. Everyone's been traveling for, everything. The Club World Cup, NYCFC,
Gold Cup.
Yeah, Gold Cup.
But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to tell you guys. It's a great time to, be a soccer fan here in America.
Really,
oh, yeah.
Summer soccer's here.
Despite of course, the things going on, the noise going on around outside of the field, which is, things we can't control. The most important thing to, remember is that the beautiful game unites all of us.
Yeah.
To have all these things going on at the same time, that's a great time to be alive. So
yeah, it is.
I know. For me personally, it's been that 6 to 8 hour escape every day, where I could sit down, watch a couple Club World Cup games, and not even think about what's going on the West Coast.
For the next 2 to 3 weeks, we have Gold Cup Club World Cup every day.
Yeah, it's a welcome distraction.
It's
You know,
amazing.
I mean, I know a lot of things in this world right now are getting crazy, but right now that's a distraction we need is all this soccer. Because I'm sorry, I can't go through none of this without watching some footy. I'm sorry.
And just talking about the Club World Cup, we had the privilege to have someone like Dortmund here. You know, yesterday here we're recording on the day after. Dortmund against Fluminense. Of course, we had Porto. We had against Palmeiras a few days before that. Unfortunately, on the field, they're both 0-0s. But outside of the field, just like many other games for the Club World Cup, it's been a vibrant atmosphere. We have a lot of teams from this side of the world really showing up, rightfully so.
Yeah.
But this is kind of their chance to show up.
Yeah.
We definitely got to shout out Brooklyn Borussen, the event you guys put together, all the fan bases from America for Dortmund. We had such a great time. So everybody who traveled from Dortmund were amazing.
Yeah,
From Germany overall.
everyone was so cool.
And it was great to, just make these kind of connections and, of course, remind everyone we're all here for the beautiful game. We can enjoy this globally. We can enjoy this, in our backyard, and especially through NYCFC.
Yeah, definitely. And now it's gonna be even more exciting because, we're gonna build on this atmosphere going into the World Cup next year. I mean, that's gonna be the greatest part of it. I mean, to me, I see a lot of what was happening. Like I saw, like Palmeiras had a big ass banderazo in Times Square.
Everybody has gone to Times
a few
Square,
teams,
literally.
and you know something? It takes me back to 1994, June of 1994, when the World Cup was at the Meadowlands. You'd have the Italians come out; they were mobbing out, obviously. You know what I mean? And
You tell them.
the Italians
Literally.
the
was
Italians
definitely
were
not
literally
there.
mobbing out. The Irish were doing their thing, and it was just a great time, especially leading up into that Italy-Ireland match. And, it was something to me, I was grateful to be a part of that because you got to see what soccer does. And, Americans just may have discovered this recently, but this is something that's been going on for like years and years.
And
Hundreds of years.
Yeah, and attendance aside, I mean, if you're going to bring it, you're going to bring it.
Some of it has been horrible, though.
No, it has been, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a topic for another time with attendance. But
I mean, who plays a game of 12 on like a weekday?
Exactly.
I mean, like, come on, bro. In this economy, come on.
not only that, a lot of the stadiums are pretty oversized for the matchups that they're hosting, but the whole fact that you have people from, Middle Eastern countries, Arabic teams, you have people from all around the Americas really showing out. That goes to show that it's going to be a great World Cup next year. And let not forget, this is exactly what we should be expecting.
Yeah, and I think something else that kind of struck me as I was watching games today. This is like a swan song for a lot of guys that have been on the international stage for a while. Luka Modric played 10 minutes for Real Madrid today.
Di Maria.
Di Maria, he played against Boca the other night.
There's definitely a lot of
Leo Messi for Inter Miami. I mean, we don't know if he's playing the next World Cup. I mean,
he'll probably
he
play
probably
next
will
year,
play, but
Yeah, I assume
But
if
these last
he
12 months
hasn't
are the swan
retired,
song,
this is like, not only is it the swan song of like, it really is crazy. Like the build up to the World Cup has just been so like anticipated. So like this is like the prequel in a way, but I'm just trying to soak it all in because once it's over, it's gonna be like, damn, man,
And one thing
we had it.
Yeah.
One thing I was telling, of course, Jesse from, Big Play Small Talk, was that we've kind of had those double hitters as NYCFC. In 2014, we had the World Cup, and then 2015, we got inaugurated. In 2026, we're going to have the World Cup. Oh, sorry, we had the World Cup that led into the rise of soccer in America.
MLS,
26, we're going to have the World Cup here, and in 27, we have our stadium.
Exactly, so. And I think that's going to be the greatest part of it because as we saw on the gram today, they're in talks to having the Club World Cup in 2029, and at MLS Stadium. So now we're going to have the best stadium in the league. Open for 2 years. Open for business for 2 years.
Is that what they said in MLS stadiums?
They're considering it.
MLS
Well, I
stadiums.
mean, they do it in MLS stadiums,
I
but
know, but not enough.
Imagine
they're gonna have to
the Club
reconsider
World Cup
having
coming
more
back
MLS
to the
stadiums, to
U.S.
be honest.
being played here in Queens.
I don't think the attendance would be a problem if the time just wasn't so awful.
It
Like
is.
the time of the
12 p.m.
matches is
games
god
on
awful.
Tuesdays, Thursdays, Wednesdays, you should not.
Listen, 3 o'clock,
expecting
5
a lot.
o'clock. Maybe some people gotta work early, but you're giving people no option.
And
No
again,
option.
there's just not enough traction for a Club World Cup in America. We don't have enough fans from like so many teams around the world that can actually make the trip. The World Cup is completely different. It's a completely different
that's like
animal.
a one in a
so
lifetime
people
trip,
sacrifice themselves to make it. But of course, you're talking about stadiums. Update us on the freaking jewel that just got the beam.
If you have
the stadium has been penetrated.
It has been penetrated.
On the ground.
If you have not
in the ground.
As in burying. We are burying. If you didn't see our social media, the last couple of days, NYCFC, they've been all over the place. Francisco Moya was on social media about this. We have our first vertical beam placed at Etihad Park, y'all.
Again, keep in the eye, not only when you're going to Citi Field games, but when you're around Citi Field for the whole progress of this beautiful thing. I cannot explain to you the emotions I'll go through.
I feel like we should go take a picture like in front of it now and like save it for like when it's done.
Every month we should keep like
we should like log
that's something I was doing for a while. I was like, I like sometimes if we have games at Citi Field, I'll have Evie record me. This is today's date. Why we here? This is Etihad Park in its infancy, and it's just something that when we started, when the stadium was announced, we just anticipated it so much, and then going into the groundbreaking last December, that was just like, hey, let's now we're gonna really enjoy this, and now we're really seeing this stadium getting fleshed out. It's beautiful.
Not only that, but now we're starting to see much more ads put up, especially on 74th Street, Jackson Heights.
Yep,
that's a perfect little intersection.
About time, NYCFC.
Can we see some ads in the Bronx next? Come on.
Yeah, we've done it in Grand Central. We've done them in Jackson Heights.
Put them everywhere.
Everywhere. The 5 boroughs.
I haven't seen any in Astoria yet. Where's come on.
Yeah.
We got there's so much to look forward to. Like, honestly, this is from now on, it's basically, we're in this, not the home stretch, but we're getting to that point in the season.
Yes.
We're halfway through. The mistakes are more crucial than they've ever been. We really have to be in form. As long as we get in the playoffs, I'll be fine. Whether it's whatever seed, as long as you get in the dance, you got a shot. But I'm really proud of the way the team's been playing halfway through. If you would have told me we'd have, how many wins do we have? 8 wins, 4 draws, and 6 losses. I would take it.
Yeah, we got to credit a lot of Pascal Janssen and the boys.
Yeah.
For mutually believing in themselves.
Yeah, man, the boys been showing up.
Yeah, and this is, I think that a lot of people, a lot of supporters going into the season, we didn't know what we were going to get. We knew we were going to get a coach who has a decent track record with a limited roster, because some GMs just don't believe in doing their jobs. Some sporting directors don't want to do their jobs around here. We had a very threadbare roster, but we're making it happen. And I think that's a good shot to a good coach. He's making it happen.
He's going through the pantry, taking whatever he could get and just throwing it in there.
Whatever it is, and the meal is coming out good.
Yeah, and credit for the young guys stepping up. Everyone for stepping up. Of course, like you said, it's sporting director's time to show up. It's about that time. At least we're getting our head out of getting saved by signings. And we have a lot of our own depth players stepping up, growing. And people are staying relatively healthy now in the last month or so. So we keep going on that right track. Yeah. And hopefully we get the tools we need. The second half be completely different. So
so let's go. Let's keep it up, boys, because it only gets better from here. Playoff bound, and once we in, let's just step it up.
Sky's the limit for this team, bro. Honestly.
But before we go, of course, we want to shout out what an amazing last week or so that we've had. Not only for NYCFC, getting to know people, shout outs like Eli Lesser, Brooklyn Verusin, and just having great times at the games. It's been a great time to be alive. A great summer. All these competitions.
It's literally just the start, man. Like we're in for an awesome summer. Can someone pull up the schedule real quick? Can we see?
I'll preview the remaining games.
Like how many? Just at least how many home games
we have
left.
Cup in the background right now as well.
Yeah, I'm not going to the Red Bull matches.
Definitely don't.
I'll be at the Yankee Stadium game, but I'm not going out to the Red Bull.
None of us are going to be at the Red Bull game, so
I will go to a watch party if there's one. But
August 1st against Leon. That's going to be the Leagues Cup, and then we got August 9th. Actually, no.
We don't have any matches in July?
No, we only got like 2 matches.
The next match is July 3rd against...
July 3rd, and then...
Toronto.
And
then we play Orlando, right?
Yeah, then we play Orlando, and I think
it's Charlotte. We play Charlotte, too.
Charlotte.
Yeah.
So it's probably, 2 games before we go to the Leagues Cup?
Yeah, three or 4 games.
And then the rest of it, it's going...
We play Leon, Toluca, both of those games are at Red Bull Arena.
Toluca.
Columbus is at home.
No, Toluca's.
Oh, bro, we have mad games in July. What the?
Come on, boys. Come on, boys.
That's my fault.
All right, so we play Toronto at home. We play Charlotte away, Orlando away, SKC away, and FC Dallas away. Damn, 4 away days back to back to back
Before
to
we
back.
go to Leagues Cup, we have
And
that
then
one.
we play Puebla at Red Bull Arena.
Yep. No, that game.
Leon.
That game's at Yankee Stadium.
No, it's not. The
No,
Toluca
Toluca
games.
one.
Oh,
The
Toluca
Toluca
is against
games.
Yankee Stadium.
And then we play Leon at Red Bull Arena, which is depressing for me because I want to go see James, but I'm not. I refuse. Toluca, Yankee. Yeah, so we in reality we got like, let me count. 1, go scroll down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 home games left in the season.
Yeah, but the next games that we have in July,
And that's
home
it.
and away, are very winnable opponents,
Yeah.
and the other opponents have worse records.
We
than
should have
us
10
right
points in July at least. Starting with Montreal.
Yeah.
Please,
That is
boys,
definitely
do
a big
not
one.
overlook Montreal. We already got burned once. Do not get burned again.
now. If you got to watch the highlights from 2016, 17, 18, 19, almost every time we go out there,
we win.
You have to take tune
Playoff
in.
win 2022.
That was a big one.
That was a great one.
You know, enjoy it. Don't eat too much poutine. And, well, I'm basically saying that to myself. It's going to be.
Yeah, bro. That poutine is so good, but so salty.
Yeah, it is salty as fuck. I'm not even going to lie. Salty as a motherfucker. But other than that, guys, that's really all I got to say. Anything you boys want to say?
Shouts to everybody who's been patient enough and been sticking with us for the last, couple weeks.
Yeah.
Shouts to y'all. All the viewers, everybody who tunes in and listens to us. This is for y'all. This is not even for us, man. This is for y'all because we do this for you guys, and we want to give you a different perspective as well. So shouts to y'all.
Our last video got way more views than I expected, so I actually really appreciate that. The subscribers have been going up, so thank you guys, man. We really appreciate
Any
it.
type of love is greatly appreciated. Of course, we're working on spicing
Be more
things up.
consistent.
We have things in the back of our heads, and hopefully we can deliver that to you guys.
Thank you for being
And
Nobodies
also
with us.
expect a vlog, a Montreal vlog. So I'm putting it out there, so I actually have to do it. I'm holding myself to it. Other than that, this is the New York City Nobodies,
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being here.
and we out. Peace.
Take care of yourself, kid. Wash behind your fucking ears.
There you go.